In this video, you will learn about accessors, also known as getters, and mutators, also known as setters. On the screen, you see a class called Concert. The purpose of this class is if you had an application that was to manage, say, concert tickets or concert events, you may need to work with data that is associated with different concerts. Having a class called Concert gives you that ability to create more than one object of a concert. To create a concert class, we use the keyword class, and in this example, I only have two instance variables, also known as attributes. These describe a particular concert. So for a particular concert, I have a band name and I have a venue. Now, notice that they are labeled as private. This is applying the principle of encapsulation and information hiding. We have made these private with the intention that other objects of different class types cannot directly go in and get the current value or update these attributes. So only objects of the type concert can make these changes. Now, why would we want to do this? One reason is perhaps we want to have some control over the values that get set for band name and venue. In order to have any type of access to those attributes after you've made them private, what we tend to do is create what is known as a getter and a setter for those attributes, also known as instance variables. And the reason why they're called getters or setters is because the word get and set precedes the name of the attribute when we create the method. So it's just a best practice or a standard that developers use. So to create an accessor method for the band name, I'm going to call it getBandName. To create a mutator or setter method for band name, I'm going to call it setBandName. Same technique will be used for venue and being able to get venue and set venue. Now, a getter, also known as accessor method, will always return a value, and that type that gets returned needs to match the type of the attribute. So if the purpose of getBandName is to return what the current value of band name is, if you look, you see band name is of type string. So that is the return type that I want to have for the getBandName. That's why you see public string getBandName and you see return band name. For the setter, the new value needs to match the value type that attribute is. So for band name, the data type is string. So that's why you see on line 27, the data type that is passed in is of type string. So it's going to receive a new band name of type string, and then the code within that method just takes that value that was returned and assigns it to the attribute band name. And we did the same thing with venue. We have a getVenue method, returns a string type, and a setVenue method that accepts a new string name, a new string type for a new venue name. Now, let's say we want to test this class by creating a test class. The easiest way to do this is to go to where your class is stored, and notice that it's under a package. If you don't have a package, that's okay. Just wherever your class that you want to test is stored at that same level, right mouse click and create a new Java class. And I like to call it test, the name test, and then the name of the class. So I'm going to call this test concert. If you had a student class, you would call it test student or you can even call it test concert class. So I'm going to select finish. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a main method. And here is where I'm going to call a constructor. So I'm going to call a constructor, call the concert constructor, and then I'm going to test the setters and test the getters. I like to write out my programming logic first as comments before I write any code. It helps me keep straight what it is that I'm logically trying to do. So I'm going to I'll call it concert 1, and I'm going to call the default no argument constructor. Now the reason why I call it the default no argument constructor is if you look over here at concert, the class definition, you'll notice that I have not yet actually created a constructor. So we're not covering constructors in this tutorial, but that's okay. If you don't create your own constructor, a default no argument one is provided for you. And so now I have a concert that I can play with. So I can set the band name, and I'll set it to say Styx. And then I am going to get the band name to confirm that it actually took the new name. Now, if I just did it like this, notice that it compiles. There's no red. Okay, red means there's problems with the syntax. So if you see any red in the editor, there's problems with the syntax. The reason why, if I run this, so let me just compile this and run this, and I'll show you what I mean. And you can stretch this if you don't see the output window. So if I run this, it's going to appear to run, but you don't see anything happen. And that's because I haven't displayed anything to this screen. So if you want to see the results of that get band name, you need to display something. So I'm going to put concert band name is now : and that will return the current name of the band. Now let's say I want to do the same thing again. So I'm just going to copy these two, paste these two. And let's say I want to change this to Pink Floyd. Actually, this tests both the getters and setters. So I'll remove that. All right, so now let's run this. And so I need to compile it, so I do a clean and build, and then I'm going to run it. Now, when you test an application, make sure you know what to look for. So you can verify whether it works or not. So I would expect it to first display Styx and then display Pink Floyd. So notice that concert band name is now Styx, concert band name is now Pink Floyd. And that's a result of first on line 18, setting band name to Styx, then on line 21, setting band name to Pink Floyd. Now, for you to try, see if you can add test code to this main method to test the set and get venue methods. Thank you for listening. Happy coding.